Hold on. Share screen. I want to share this one over here. Go live. Right, you should be able to see my screen as well. Right, so as always, let me know what pairs you want me to look at. Bit of a strange day, really. Right, let's go to the dollar. I say strange day, I mean, not really, but yes and no. Well, we'll go through it and I'll explain why. Um, so, this US dollar, as we have been speaking about, um, impulse correction, continuation to the upside. That's what we got. So, we got the impulse, the correction, and the continuation. And it came up into a area of resistance and we got knocked down today. So we got the market pulling back against us here. We were looking for longs for a continuation, but it wasn't to be. Um, we sold off aggressively instead, but that's fine. And in hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, we had broken last week's highs. Most breakouts fail. We'd already come up into a resistance area, so it's not hard to understand why we got the pullback. Now, having said that, we got the pullback, and I'm in anticipation of a bullish continuation, right? So, impulse, correction, continuation. So, on the day itself, we've come into a 38.2. So, this is where I'm looking for the correction to decelerate. We are at support. Not much else really to look at here. We've got yesterday's closing price that's acting as support. So let's see how things pan out. We're setting up now for Friday. Um, on the week itself, let's see. I mean, if we move on up, I mean, as someone quite rightly mentioned in the chat, we already are at an area where the market has been rejecting it over a number of occasions, right? So we are in this resistance. So perhaps we're not going to get the follow through, which would play into our bearish weekly thesis. So we've been talking about that as well. So perhaps this week is going to end as a doji, all right, and could be the start of a pullback. So next week we're going to have Fed speakers. We'll go through all of that tomorrow. What have we got on the calendar for tomorrow? We've got the Bank of Japan later on tonight. Nothing significant on the US calendar. A fair bit of European data. So let's see. I mean, we might get some European data that conflicts with the dovish rhetoric, and that could dent the dollar's progress and leave it exposed to the downside for a downside correction. Um, but let's see. I'm still advocating higher highs. Uh, if we can hold in support, if we can hold in around, if this impulse stays intact, so if we hold at support, then we're looking for higher highs. That's not to say that we can't get higher highs and then met with supply, which would be nice. We'd like to be up high for our US session over here somewhere, up high for us to short, but it depends on what comes out of the European data. So I'm wondering if we're going to have a move up into the European data and then take it from there. All right, so we're potentially going to come up and retest these highs. And the focus will then be on the European data. We've got an initial resistance currently. So we need to get above these highs that we've made in the US session today. If we can get above these highs, we can build up for a move higher. All right. Right then. Yields are firm, at least on the 10-year. We've come down potentially to move on up. So that would be supportive if we got a continuation higher. Coming to 38.2, so I'm happy to be looking for a bullish continuation, and same for the 2-year. And people are asking, why is the dollar reacting like this? Why is our markets doing this, that, and the other? It's ebbs and flows. We've come out of a Federal Reserve meeting. There's a lot of indecisiveness. It can take a couple of days to digest and for markets to position themselves. We're coming up to a weekend. It's profit taking ebbs and flows. Sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason. But as we've already identified, we were up high and the dollar was simply correcting. And you could call it a stop hunt, call it what you like. I got turned over on dollar CAD, unfortunately. I tried adding to the position and it didn't work out. So it actually ended up being a small loss for me. Not to worry, making it back on oil currently. Looking for lower lows still within this bearish channel to the downside. We can look at euro yen, being asked to look at euro yen, euro yen, euro yen. Right, euro yen. Let's start again on the chart. Bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just looking something up. See if we've got any spiel with regards to the Bank of Japan. Right, so the Bank of Japan is expected to leave all policy levers unchanged, and analysts are doubting that the Bank of Japan is eager to spring another curveball at markets after July's surprise yield curve control tweak. So, main takeaway from that is it's expected to be a benign event. Instead, a lot of focus is going to be on the governor's comments with regards to the yen, the strength of the yen, so the weakness of the yen, rather. So, we're looking at a market that is coming up close quarters to 150, seems to be the psychological level that markets are interested in. We've come nicely away from prospects of that in today's move. We've actually broken structure, and I'm wondering if we were talking about this yesterday, were we not? I seem to recall we were talking about, was it stock? Oh no, sorry, it was stocks we were looking at. Similar, yeah, it was stocks. Okay, so the dollar yen is on the back foot. breaking down structure. That is not to say that it can't come back up. It most likely will. Most breakouts fail, so expect a bullish correction, especially if our thesis for the US dollar moving up is to play out. Now, that will affect euro yen in that euro dollar. Let's look at euro dollar first. Euro dollar, if we're going to get a downside continuation in the euro dollar, then euro yen. Have I got it? Where is it on my? Here it is. Then we can expect any attempt to move higher to be slow paced. So if we've got both the dollar, if we've got the dollar and dollar bid, euro bearish, then we're going to have uh, dollar yen potentially bullish, and that should leave euro yen exposed to um, some upside, but not so much if the euro is just going to sink. So we need to bear that in mind. So I think maybe euro yen isn't going to be the where the trade's going to be, but being asked to look at it. So the break of structure. So we've got a bearish bias in place. Broken down market. So bearish bias, but prospects of a bullish correction. Yeah, nothing really glaring out to me. I mean, we've got support over here. I think we're coming in to test this support. So any rallies are a fade. So by that I mean you can sell rallies. Okay, so we've got shorts in the market. Now just be cautious as we come into Friday that we will be looking to buy low. Reason being is we've got shorts in the market and a short squeeze could be on the cards. We've got that. Hold on, let's go to a daily chart. Chop suey to me it looks rather choppy. Yeah, again, nothing really glaring out obvious to me that I want to be involved with. I think we've just got more choppiness ahead. But I'll be looking to sell rallies until we get into demand and then looking to buy dips in demand on Friday for a move up. A move up into this week's sell off. All right. Any other pairs you guys want me to look at? If not, I'm going to wind this down because there really isn't much to go on. No new developments. Same outlook for yields higher, dollar higher. Having said that, if we can't break today's highs, or maybe we'll break them, and if we get a rejection, and then we're looking for the sell-off back into this week's longs. But that's all something we can go through in the morning, and we can monitor the Asian and London session and look for setups for our US session to close down the week, hopefully ending strong on the week. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is bullish while above this resistance here, this prior resistance area. So we broke out of that and we've pulled back into the rally W formation, neckline support. I'm in anticipation of a move up from support at some point. Whether it's going to come here, a bit lower down, don't know. But we're bullish for the sessions and day ahead. Sterling dollar. Pretty sure I just. Hold on, bear with me. One moment, please. I'm just loading something up because I'm pretty sure I did analysis for you in the chat room, and I want to lean against that analysis. So, right there it is. So, copy the image. I'm putting it in the chat. So, with this, we're in a bearish scenario. So, bearish, and we've broken that old support. Well, we've pierced it, haven't we? So that's essentially put us on the backside of that bullish trend, and now we're heading lower. Okay. And I don't know why I don't seem to have that same chart here for some reason. There it is. Is it? No. Where's it gone? There it is it? Yeah, right. So that was a daily chart analysis. Right, so daily chart analysis coming to test this low. Now, if this were to correct, so we're looking for a bearish close, a correction, and a downside continuation. On the day itself, we've got resistance in here. So perhaps we're just going to have a rollover and a move to the downside without needing to come up. Okay, so that is my outlook. I think we can probably just drop from this area of resistance. Okay, so we're biased to the downside. So long as we can stay below this opposing candle over here. So we can just draw in that high of that candle. We might as well draw in that level there as well. So we'll call all of this our resistance area. So if we can stay below the 50% mean reversion of that drop, so 123.30s, if we can stay below there, then the prospects are for a continuation to the downsides. Top Cat, what tips are, what do you mean by TMR? Oh, tomorrow. Well, I can only give you scenarios. So I'm looking for the dollar between now and, say, London. Looking for Asia to buy back the dollar and set us up for London shorts and US sessions shorts. But I want to see a pickup in the dollar. I think it deserves it after today's beating. So a ride higher perhaps into resistance, maybe even exceeding today's highs for a continuation, and then we'll be nicely set up for a downside move on Friday to close out the week, buying back the euro, the Aussie, etc. stocks. I mean, stocks have fallen off a cliff as well, haven't they? So I'm looking for the reversal for Friday so we can get long, but perhaps a bit more downside to come before the move up. 106 possible, yeah. Anything's possible, but let's have a look. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, perhaps not. Perhaps not. Let's put the correction on. So upside target of 105, maybe the 105.70s, perhaps, and a drop on Friday. But that's all speculation. But we can always just get set and expect, um, anticipate moves, setups, and so forth. But for me, we just need to let it play out and watch how Asia and London set up. I mean, at the end of the day, you've actually got this bearish drop. I mean, this could all just act as resistance, and we could see a downside continuation on in the dollar. We don't want to see that because we want to sell up high, and we want, the biggest margin of possibilities to sell, to short the market in the dollar. So, for instance, we get a nice trade out of euro dollar, for instance, on Friday by going long at the lows of the week. So far, we're sort of mid range, and I don't want to be doing anything mid range. I want to see this come off and buy the low of the week. Yeah, exactly. It can take a couple of days for that all to filter through, digesting the Fed and so forth. Profit taking, weekend coming up. Um, right, so that's where we're at then, guys. So we'll leave it there for today. Um, Keeping an eye on this oil, hoping that we just continue into the lows. I've got my take profit down here, but won't be surprised if we get a move back up and testing these highs before continuing lower. But we'll have to see. Okay, guys, have a good one. See you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. As always, I appreciate you all. Thank you.